Hi, this is Carl with another SOP video for managed service providers. Today I want to talk about the lessons of a horrible haircut. Really what I want to talk about is how to outsource effectively. Now, I literally am inspired by this horrible haircut. Many of you have seen my other videos, my promotional materials, so forth. I generally have this sticky uppy hair, and I enjoy it and it's fun. But about a month ago, I got a really bad haircut. And this is after going to the same place for quite a while, and I tried to figure out why. Like, why did I have this one really bad haircut? And so I failed to give this barber feedback. I did tell him, hey, this is way, way, way shorter than I need. I normally get my hair cut about every 3 weeks. And so I just let it grow out until it looked more or less normal, but by then the sides were really long. So a few days ago, I went into a barber, a different barber, a completely new barber, and said, I want it to look just like this, only a little bit shorter, and I want it to be trimmed on the sides. And not only did he give me a horrible haircut, but it wasn't at all what I expected. And I started to think about, how do I fix this? And the way you fix this, the way I will fix this, is the same as the way I fix everything else. First, document what you want. So I'm going to download to my phone pictures of my haircut as I want to appear going forward. And then I'm going to say literally, and I'm going to go find a new barber and give them a chance. But I'm going to say, look, that's what I want it to look like, more or less. But that, not this. I'm actually going to take a picture of this and say, this is absolutely not what I would want. I don't know anyone on earth who would choose this haircut. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it's uneven, it's not square, it's sort of chopped all the way down on one side and too high on the other, and it's just, it would be better if he just made me bald. So you need to start by clear expectations. Think about your employees, think about an outsourced virtual administrator. Think about an outsourced help desk, for example, that you might hire to help with your clients. You need to document exactly what you expect them to do. You can't say, set up a printer. Well, okay, with DHCP or hard-coded, should it have an address that makes it visible on the internet? Does it need a gateway? On and on and on. Like, you have to be very clear about what you want, because what you mean by set up a printer and what I mean by set up a printer could be two very different things, especially if they're going to remote in at night when you can't verify anything that they're doing and they just have to report back to you. Which gets us to the second thing. So the first thing is you have to have clear expectations. Second, you have to actually monitor what happens. You have to be checking in on it. So next time I get my hair cut, I'm going to say, okay, as you trim the top, don't turn me away from the mirror. I want to look at the mirror. I want to see what you're doing, because if you're going down the wrong road, I will just leave. When you hire people to work for you or as outsourced resources, you need to have early verification that they're headed in the right direction. You can't send them off and say, okay, go work 20 hours, let me know when you're done. That usually doesn't turn out very well. So you have to follow up, you have to monitor. Outsourcing is largely a matter of making sure you're super clear on expectations. Now, turn it around. Think about your client's perspective. When your client outsources to you, they should, and probably don't, have really clear, well-defined expectations. And you should do your part to make sure that you are agreeing on what needs to be done, agreeing on how it should look when it's finished. How you do it in the middle, that's up to you. What it looks like at the end, that's something the client should be involved in. So You have to set expectations. You have to monitor work that's being done. And finally, there needs to be an evaluation. So even if it's super informal, you need to look at the work that's been done and you need to say, yeah, that's good. When I stood up from the barber, I did not give him 2 thumbs up and say, oh yeah, that's totally fine, and then go outside and whine because it looked like crap. I told him I thought it looked like crap and that I didn't ask for this. I asked for the opposite. And so I needed to make sure that he had that feedback. Now, he still lost my business, don't get me wrong. But your clients need to be able to come to you and say, hey, let me just verify that you did this work. Let me verify that I'm getting what I'm paying for. Therefore, it helps a lot for you to give them regular reports so that they have some sense of what work you're actually doing for them. In terms of you outsourcing to somebody over the internet or to an outsourced help desk and whatever, you need to have ways of measuring what you're doing and you need to evaluate it. The good news is if you've set expectations in step 1 and you've monitored in step 2, then evaluating in step 3 has no surprises. It turns out to be, yes, we sort of move this whole project forward exactly as expected and very successfully. I encourage you to develop a process for managing outsourced personnel that includes setting very clear expectations, following up as work is being done, checking in from time to time, and evaluating it when it's complete. Unfortunately, we live in an era where too many times something happens and you instantly get a request for feedback. I think that's very inaccurate, and it also leads half the people to just ignore it and the other half of the people to do something that's based on their feeling at that moment and not a well thought out evaluation of what happened. I'm not a big fan of closing a ticket and instantly having a client get a request for how many stars would you give this. That's fine, but you just need to understand you are not getting good, well thought out feedback in that process. And I'm not sure you're getting feedback that's useful at all. Good feedback means actually talking to the client and saying, hey, I just want to make sure you're getting what you expect and what you believe that you're paying for. And if not, let's realign those expectations. Happy to have your feedback on everything except the haircut. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Polachuk wishing you the best of luck in your managed service business. Here's your checklist for this video. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends, ring that bell to make sure you don't miss anything, and visit us at sopforsmb.com.